What is up, you guys? I am so excited to make this video because as you can probably tell, the Subi's home, baby. I'm sitting here right now because I am so pumped to drive this thing. I have so much to do on it, but at least she's back now so I can finally get to work on it. If you guys didn't catch my last video, we went to the paint shop and checked it out after they just painted the engine bay. And here she is finally in the shop. And oh my God, I still can't get over this color. The flake is insane. It sparkles so much. And the camera, like I said in the last video, does not pick it up at all, but it looks so good. One thing I actually didn't show in the last video was they didn't have the rocker panels fixed. So if you guys follow my Instagram, you would have seen I put some pictures up of what my rocker panels looked like before, all rusty and crunched in, and they just looked absolutely horrible. If you guys didn't see that, I'll probably put a picture up right here somewhere of when they looked like garbage. And this is gonna be a hard angle to get, but this is what they look like now. Brand spanking new. You can see the paint cutoff line where they painted. And I don't know if you could tell there, but I actually got them to rock guard the pinch weld on the bottom too. And the lighting's shitty on this side, but here's the other side. It looks just as good. They're perfectly straight now. They did an absolutely killer job on this. Pretty sure I sat in a chair and stared at this engine bay for like a solid 30 minutes the other night because I just can't get over the fact that this is my car. Like, this is crazy. But besides all that, now let's get to the point of this video. And I know everyone and their dog has posted a video on how to install a fuel pump in a Subaru, but I was doing a lot of searching on YouTube, and honestly, I couldn't find anybody that had a good video on how to put a fuel pump into a STI or WRX hatchback. So if I go through my massive pile of parts that I have piling up here, this is just a sneak peek, but there will be lots of videos to come of all these parts getting installed. I got my AEM 340 liter per hour fuel pump that I'm gonna be putting in. Honestly, I wish I got the 450 liter per hour fuel pump with the big turbo I'm running and everything like that, and the 1300cc injectors. But I bought this fuel pump before I decided I was going full send with this build. Initially, I was just gonna do grin speed up pipe, external wastegate, 1050 injectors and stuff like that. But then when I pulled it apart and my turbo had a bunch of shaft play, I kind of just sent it, and I ended up getting here. And you know how it goes when you're working on cars. You end up taking something apart. I'm like, oh, I might as well do this while I'm in there. Yeah, that was the kind of the road that I went down. And then the engine bay ended up getting painted. The rocker panels ended up getting painted. And then I ended up with a down payment on a house sitting in my garage. So yeah, that's how the Subaru build happened. Anyways, talk too much again. So this fuel pump is still compatible with E85 or 94, whatever you're running. So I do have the option to upgrade to E85 one day if I want to. I'm gonna stay on pump gas for now just because I live in Alberta and E85 is not easy to get here. We don't have it on any pumps, so 94 octane is gonna have to do for now. So hopefully this pump will be enough for the 450 or 500 wheel we're gonna be trying to make. But if it's not, fuel pump's not the biggest deal. It was like $100 or something like that to buy it, so I can always get a bigger one. Before I even start this install, I'm just gonna put it out there. I've never put a fuel pump in a Subaru before. I've never put a bigger fuel pump in a car before. This is my first time, so to be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. I've put a fuel pump in a car before, but I've never done this, so this should be fun. Another thing is I'm pretty sure that I filled this tank of gas before I parked the car, and I can't even check it because I don't have a battery and the whole harness is taken apart on this thing. I guess we'll find out. First thing we're gonna do is take out the bottom cushion on the back seat. I removed this trim piece just so that I can show you guys where the clip is. You don't have to take this off. You can sneak your fingers in here, but just under the seat on both corners on each side, right there's a little white clip that the seat pops into, and there's a little black tab that you have to release there. So all you gotta do is stick your finger in from this side of the seat, pull that black tab forward, and lift up, and the seat should come right out. I'll hop over to the other side, and I'll do it with this trim piece in just so that you guys can see. You don't have to take this piece out. Go right to the corner of this, and the clip sits right next to the corner of it. So just pull that clip forward and lift up. Then once you get those two side clips in, there's one clip in the middle of the seat holding it in. Honestly, just grab on the seat and yank it up, and it'll pop right out. Now the seats just pretty much come out of here. And I'm pretty sure the fuel pump's the one on the passenger side of the car. So let's get that one opened up. There's just 4 Phillips screws around the whole cap. Take those out. I'm just gonna lift this cap off of here. Be careful not to wreck that styrofoam seal. Holy shit, she's dirty in there. Every other video I see on YouTube, they're always like squeaky clean in here. That's what 200,000 kilometers looks like. Now, just to get this harness out of the way here, there's one plug. You're gonna unplug right here. Oh, she came off. Oh, does that harness go to the other side too? Oh, gross, it does. Let's just set this to the side then. Now, before I start disconnecting lines, I'm gonna go grab a rag so I don't make a huge mess here because this tank is full as hell, I think. All right, now that I got some rags shoved in there, there's gonna be 2 tabs on either side of these fuel lines. You're just gonna squeeze them both in on either side and then push forward and the line should come off. Here we go, leaking fuel everywhere. That's what the rags are for. This guy off. Oh shit. That's a lot of gas. Oh god. Oh no. Oh my god. This is gonna piss everywhere. Okay, well, there's gonna be a huge puddle under my car. That was a lot of fuel. This whole thing is filled. But let's get the last one off here if I can get my fingers in there. Okay, and now that all those lines are off, I'm gonna take my rags out of here. Oh, it's soaked. Holy shit. Make sure you don't make a spark here or any flame whatsoever, or else you ain't gonna have a car no more. Let's get these out of the car. All right, now if you look inside at the whole assembly there's gonna be a whole bunch of 8mm nuts all the way around. Go ahead and just take all those out. All right, once you get all those 8mm out, there was just a bracket sitting on top here that I took out. You probably see that in the time lapse. Toss that to the side. Then what I'm gonna do, just to make this as neat and tidy as I can so I don't make an absolute mess everywhere because this tank is full, is I set a rag right here, and then I got a clean bin with all my rags that are already full of fuel at the bottom of it, just so I can lift it straight out of there and set it right into the bucket without making a mess on the whole interior of the car. But I'm assuming there's probably gonna be like a fuel level sensor or float in there, so I'm gonna have to be careful taking it out that I don't nick it on the body of the car. Let's just time lapse through me taking it out and getting it set in the bucket, hopefully not making a mess, fingers crossed. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is literally filled right to the top. That was a super easy way to do that with the rag there and then just transferring it right into the bin. Now we can take the bin out of here and then work on it outside of the car without making a whole mess. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna get both these electrical connectors unplugged here. Oh, there we go. Now that I got both those unplugged, I'm gonna start popping all the tabs on the side of the assembly here. So you're gonna need like 15 fingers to take this off. There's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs around the whole pump, and I stuck a pick in 3 of them. Be very, very careful when you're doing this. Do not nick this fuel level sensor and bend it around too much. It's very, very sensitive, and you'll know if you wreck it because when you start your car, your fuel gauge probably won't read very good. Holy shit. There she goes. Highly recommend having someone to pull those tabs with you. That was not fun. I'm gonna pull this whole assembly out of that. I don't even know what to call it. Pump housing, I guess. I don't really know. I'm gonna clean that out. There's some shit in there. Now let's work on getting this pump out of here. If you squeeze the whole assembly together, you'll see a little, kind of like a retaining ring on this pin here. All you're gonna do is set the whole assembly upside down, and then I'm gonna try and push down on this and then pull that piece off. That came off like really easy actually. Set that to the side. Now since I got that clip out, I'm gonna pop this little piece off here, I think. Feels like there's an O-ring on it. Now that's all loose. Once you pop that one off, there's gonna be one more on the other side, it looks like. Lift both these tabs up. Shimmy slide that out of there. There's an O-ring on that one too. And now this whole assembly should split apart. Now let's unplug this electrical connector for the fuel pump. Push the little tab in there, pull it out. Now I'm not really sure how this pump comes out of here. Maybe it just slides out. Oh, there's something holding it. Oh, I see. Okay, so on those 2 tabs, it looks like there's 2 little access holes here on the side. You can just stick a pick in there, then stick a pick in this other side and shove it in there. All right, let's pray it comes out now. Oh, there we go, finally. Oh, that sucked. Now we got it all apart. So let's start figuring out what we got to do with the AEM pump. All right, so I was just sitting here playing around with this, kind of orientating them side by side just to see what I got to do. And these pumps actually look super similar and the connector is actually the same. So when you buy this AEM pump, it comes with a harness connector for you that you could splice in if the connector on your car is not the same, just because this is a universal fit fuel pump. So it's not specifically for this car. I actually test fitted it to the factory plug, and if you check that out, plugs right in. So we don't even have to cut any wires or anything with this. It'll just be plug and play. AEM also gives you 2 brand new O-rings with this pump. So I'm gonna assume one of the O-rings is for the actual pump, which was dug in here. They look the same size. This retainer pin was on here too, so let's try and transfer this over to the new pump if we can, which it looks like it fits. Then this O-ring looked like it was on top of here, so let's slide her on there. All right, so I got the new lock and the new O-ring transferred over to the AEM pump. Now we're just gonna shove it back into this thing here without the filter on it, just so we can grab this and push and make sure the locking tabs lock in. There we go. Now we are going to take this whole assembly and get it back onto the hanger, whichever way this went. Shit. It's probably this way. Okay, when I put it on, it got stuck and wouldn't go on. And then I noticed that the hole or whatever that is on this side gets stuck to the left there. So I just get my thumb on here, push it over, and then it should slide right into place. There we go, she's on. Now that it is on, we can start hooking our hoses up again. This one had an O-ring on it, so I'm gonna put a fresh new O-ring on there. Slide her onto this piece, click it in here. Mint. There's an O-ring on this one too, but AEM only sent 2 O-rings and I didn't damage this one at all, so I'm gonna reuse this one. All right, now that's back into place. Now we can get this little lock pin back on. Push down on it, then give it a little push on there. Perfect. Son of a bitch, we forgot to plug in the fuel pump. All right, well, let's just route this wire. Hopefully we can hook this up with the pump in there. I think we should be able to. Are my fingers small enough to get that plugged in? Hell yeah. Now we can get one of these connectors plugged back in, whichever one it was, this one. There we go. Now we got that whole assembly back together with the pump in there. Super easy, wasn't hard at all. So I took the O-ring out of that hole down there. I'm gonna slide it onto this black piece here. I'm guessing this is like the suction tube that the pump sucks from or something like that. I don't really know. Or like a return line or something. I have no idea. Now we're gonna try and put the screen on here and see if it actually works. It looks like it just clears everything there. Before I put this in, I'm gonna take some brake clean and just clean the whole inside of this out because I had some dirt and grime in there and I don't want any of that getting in the pump. Take a rag and just wipe her out in there. Nice and clean. So let's get this all set in here. If I orientate it right, as long as this filter's tucked under that O-ring, I think we should be okay. That, so we can push her all together. Then we can plug this connector back in. And there we go. AEM fuel pump is now in the fuel pump housing. Now let's go get it back in the car. Actually, wait, I just realized I forgot something. I looked in the fuel pump box and under the instructions or whatever these are that I never read in the bag, there's a little circlip down here. And I was like, oh no, what does that go on? Then I looked at the factory pump and there's actually a clip that holds on the filter. And I don't have my clip on that holds on the filter. Probably wouldn't have caused that big of an issue. It could have slidden off maybe, but I got it pulled apart again. So I'm just gonna push this on there real quick and then we can put it back together and get it back in the car. This thing is tiny, you guys, so don't lose it. So let's slide this on there. Honestly, might have to get a pick to push it on or something. Holy smoke. Maybe some pliers? No, I just figured it out myself.
It doesn't come with any instructions.
No, it's a universal fuel pump. I am the online. I am the video that people go to see this online. All 10 people that watch my channel. And I can't get this clip on. That ain't going nowhere. Probably not how you're supposed to put it on, but it went on. All right, so I got the new clip on there. Seems to be holding pretty good. Now that filter for sure ain't coming off. Now we can get it on there and get it back in the car. Now that the pump's in the whole hanger assembly though, I'm just gonna time lapse through me putting it back in the car because it's the same process as taking it out. The torque for the nuts around the whole pump assembly is like 3.5 foot-pounds or something like that. So just hand tighten them with a ratchet. Or if you have a torque wrench, go 5 foot-pounds in like a star pattern around the whole circle. And make sure the rubber gasket under the pump is fully seated. Get your plate back on the top. Connect all your lines. Connect that last electrical connector and you should be good to go. Let's time lapse through this shit. All right, there we go. Back seats in, pumps in. And I can't test the pump and start it and make sure it works because I'm missing an engine and a transmission and a drive shaft and a battery and a wiring harness and literally everything. So that's probably gonna do it for this video. I guess I'll find out if the pump works when we get to our first startup video after I install all of these parts and we get everything back in the car. I'm hoping to have everything together in the next month or two so I can at least drive it this summer. Because in Alberta, you know it's gonna start snowing in like October. But let me know what you guys think in the comments if anybody watched this or even is gonna comment on it, I don't know. But let me know what you guys think of that point of view kind of video of watching me with my hands working on stuff and explaining to you guys how to put it together. Even though this one, I was just kind of going with the flow and putting it together the way I took it apart and the way I thought it went together, rather than just like a time lapse of me doing it and then explaining after how I did it. Let me know what you guys think of that. So make sure you guys stay tuned because this thing's gonna be absolutely nuts when it gets back together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I really hope it helped you guys out. For any of you guys that are scared to tackle this, putting a fuel pump in by yourself, it's super easy. It should only take you like an hour or two. So don't be scared of it. But with all that being said, peace out, you guys. Thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next one.